Alright, welcome back to. Excuse me, why is nobody remembering this world? Anime Review, episode number 5. We'll review episodes 9 and 10 for the series. And yes, the very next one will be the last one. After that, binge watching wise, it's back to calendar right after those 2 episodes. But for today, after finish watching those 2 episodes, it's basically on to my 5 brand new anime, which I'm starting today with Izuranchiro's Dungeon, which makes sense if I can start that one. I'm kind of going to do after the first episode, I'm going to do Case Closed, then back next episode, and on to the 3 came out today, and hopefully be done. Hopefully. So, in these 2 episodes, we begin not long after the events of the last episode. Ririn has joined the group because she's fallen mad in love with Kai, making her the second confirmed person to have feelings for him. It's implying John does too, but it's not really delving into it at all. It's implied. So, we have Ririn sitting up front with Kai in this lead jeep, going with this giant hedgehog area. I think it's Finn, but she basically notices that there's a hole in the sides of the tree. Somebody's been eating at it. Well, that isn't explored this episode. So then, there's actually a hot spring up her head for her stop. So we have, get this, so we have Felt and Fallon and Joe Harris's character. Saki sharing a hot spring together. And a separate hot spring, we had Rinrin, Rennie, and John all sharing the same hot spring. While Kai shares a hot spring with Ashrin, because basically... It also felt basically... Of course, Kai had the task when of course, we have John taking the hot spring. Well, this is interesting. So, he had saying guard because... Aside from him and maybe Rennie, the only person who knows the fact that Janet is a woman is basically Ren. That's it. Oh, healing wounds, of course, basically, standard anime fare. We have Rennie and Ren, where they kind of bicker for a little bit over their chest size. At least they're not arguing about Kai, because both these ladies are in love with him. And John is kind of like the big sisters of these 2 ladies. Of course, basically, Rin, they of course have to go to the low blow with the fact she's basically got small breasts. I'm like, okay, me personally, I find this hilarious when women argue about this anime. Some women probably would not find this funny. Me, I do find it funny because it's 2 women just argue about. I mean, here's why I think it's funny, because it's a standard thing that they would argue about this. So. And then, of course, basically, there's a little bit... And all of a sudden, a behemoth shows up. Yes, a behemoth. Now, you're thinking, wait, is this the first anime you've seen a behemoth show up? Kind of, yes. The only anime I've seen something close to this thing was probably in... The Halo was His Party was actually the strongest. That's the only one that comes close, because a behemoth is something I don't usually see for fantasy species ever in any of these fantasy series I've ever seen. You know what's also really rare? You know what species is most rare to them? Dryads. Officially for Dryads, I have seen them in 3 anime for those. It was Death March for Rhapsody, That Time Crimes of Slime, and Remonster. And that's pretty much it. There's only 3 I can think of where they have Dryads in them. The elves and dwarves are pretty much seen in just about every anime I've seen. Those 2 are very common, along with dragons. Those are very common, even in American lore, basically, when they do fantasy stuff. Those 3 are very common. Surprisingly, don't care much for giants, per se. But for behemoths, not really. Usually behemoths are usually you look at this thing, it's somewhat almost it almost looks like a minotaur. But here they call it behemoth, and I kind of look at the thing, it kind of looks like a minotaur, but they call it behemoth, okay. So it's kind of whisked away to a acid garden by Rainman. So, by Rainman, it's basically to walk around with no shoes on. Now I'm thinking John, why aren't you giving her some shoes to wear? I mean, I get the fact she's a shrine maiden, but she's outside the shrine. She could easily hurt her feet. So I would probably recommend her getting some shoes on. But then, of course, Kai gets wounded during the fight with the Behemoth because he's protecting Rennie. So then, of course, I think getting wounded. Of course, Rennie sleeps on top of him, basically her like across him. We have Ren, where she is like sitting to the side, sitting against the boxes. We have Genie basically leaning against the wall that's also in the boxes too. And then Kai wakes up, hearing a voice, which then takes him to this temple, which apparently Ren has been to before, with this weird statue. What she does not know about the statue is this actually is the Godfather that was first mentioned back in episode 1. The same female god who gave Prophet Sid the Codebreaker sword. And of course when they talk to her, of course Raymond stays outside because I don't think she knows about the Water Incarnation stuff per se. I think she's kept in the dark about it, but basically John is brought in because of the whole thing with Ririn basically having wings, which is something that Ririn has no problem with, but the whole reincarnation, that brought to keep a secret from her. So then they go talk to Thing, and during the course of the conversation, John is proclaimed the new prophet because she fits basically the mold. Kai is basically Thing his strength. And just like he has the sword, he has Sid's sword, he's not the prophet. He's basically the conqueror of the hero. John, because basically that she admires her courage and the fact she actually she's very brave. That's probably the reason why she was chosen to be the prophet. And Rennie and Kai's job is to support her. Okay, fine. Nothing unusual here per se, where you have a female hero and the main characters basically supporting them. This is nothing unusual. This also happened in Reincarnation of the Strongest Exorcist in the World. This is very similar with that one. The only difference is that character is not. That one is voiced by Louisa Christian. This one here is voiced by Megan Shipman. And the whole thing of being prophet, they keep a secret room when they leave the temple, because they were there for quite a while. So Rennie proceeds to ask Rennie to go to these trees to get these blue fruit, which can help heal wounds thanks to elven spiritual magic. When Rennie tries it, she ends up vomiting it. In the case of Kai, he's fine. And then, of course, they're on patrol, and then we have Saki look outside, and then she sees a weird structure, and it turns out that's actually the pyramid. Now, Kai points out this is the very period the spirits were kept in. I'm like, okay. And apparently the spirits are slimes. I'm like, really? So your spirits are slime creatures. I look at these things, they're frickin' slimes. All of them. Hundreds of slimes. And then apparently defeated by using frickin' flamethrowers. Yes, the slimes with flamethrowers. That's interesting. Which, of course, is a modern world with mixed with magic. So, and apparently, they basically knew the guys, so they came across this Black Lake. And the thing is, they have no record this Lake at all. It was not here the day before. It just randomly shows up. So, and then the water starts moving. And it turns out this actually is the spirit hero, which I almost forgot to mention. That this first episode 9 started off with Rathi fighting Kiko. Yep. They fought each other, and of course, basically, Rathi is working with a riser. I'm like, wow. Second time working with this, basically. Of course, they do point something interesting, though, about the last risers. They have a connection to the heroes, but they don't go after the god for some reason. Just the heroes. This I'm like, yes, she remembers Sid really well, but the only way she says kind of thing can be reversed. And according to the female god, she said that it depends upon the erosion, like how much has been corrupted. It's like the way it's explained here. It's almost like this is a corrupted computer program. Okay. And of course, the episode ends with Kikyo confronting the two rebel armies. Which seemed like this one, the other one, this one, me here, seemed like a much better terms than the first one they met. But yeah, that's kind of 2 episodes in a nutshell. Yeah, I did enjoy the scene where they have the girls in the hot spring. I thought that was quite funny. Now, interesting that we have Saki not finding out that John is a woman. I would have thought, though, that she could eat, like, I'm sure she can order to keep a secret. I mean, I guess probably the reason why, because her character can explore a bunch of series. But yeah, really good 2 episodes. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And then, of course, I have a Comic Core next, and then pretty much right after the next Comic Core, I'm going back to this one to watch the next episode. I was thinking of reading a couple of trades, but I figured, why not read them after I get done the last 2 episodes, which I'm going to do those next after I do this Comic Core, okay? But please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do the like button. Bye.